everybody. Welcome to the Centbee Show. I'm Lorien Gamaroff, your host, and my co-host is Kage Ntshingila. How are you doing, Kage?
Good yourself, Mr. G.
I'm great. Happy to be at the Centbee Show studios, shooting another Centbee Show, talking about our vision, our dreams, and what we're trying to do in this brilliant space of Bitcoin SV.
I'm happy to be shooting our second episode for the year. Pumped up. You guys should be keeping up, guys. Remember to check out our previous episode. If you haven't, you're missing out, yo. Mr. G, today we're going to be tapping into a very important topic, and that is global mobile money. So, Mr. G, I'd like to dive deep into what cryptocurrency is, and also clarifying that Centbee is not a cryptocurrency wallet, but we need to understand what cryptocurrency is first. I'm going to read some definitions. So from Investopedia, it states that a cryptocurrency is a digital or virtual currency secured by cryptography. And the Merriam-Webster states that any form of currency that only exists digitally and relies on cryptography to prevent counterfeiting and fraudulent transactions. And then the Cambridge Dictionary states a digital currency produced by a public network that uses cryptography to make sure payments are sent and received safely. And then from dictionary.com, it states that cryptocurrency is a currency that exists only in electronic form and uses advanced cryptography for security.
Yeah, so what's interesting is that in every one of those definitions that you read, the word cryptography kept on coming up.
Consistent, yeah.
And obviously that's where cryptocurrency gets its name from, cryptography, cryptocurrency. So what we have to then think about is, well, what does cryptography mean? And especially in relation to Bitcoin, and how is it used in Bitcoin? Now, of course, when we talk about cryptography, everybody is always talking about it in terms of encryption. In other words, when you have something that is encrypted, it means that you can't read it. You can't look at the information there and be able to decipher it. If you think about banks, banks use a lot of encryption with their information so that parties that don't have privileges to be able to look at that information, it's hidden from them. That's the whole idea of encryption. It's to hide.
It's a form of security in a sense.
Well, hiding information does keep it secure, because if criminals or something can't see the information, then of course they can't use it. So whenever people look at cryptocurrency today, what they are focusing on is that idea of encryption. And people falsely believe that Bitcoin was developed to be an encrypted technology. So that means, if that was true, that you wouldn't be able to see any of the information, although rather you could see it, but you wouldn't be able to decipher it. It would be encrypted. Now, the thing that people don't realize is that Bitcoin is not encrypted. There is no cryptographic encryption of information in Bitcoin. Yes.
That's strange. But based on what we just read now.
Well, that's why Bitcoin is not a cryptocurrency. So if people say, well, this is what Bitcoin is all about, it's not just about the decentralization, which we've talked about, where there's no central authority controlling all that information. But they also say that information is encrypted. In other words, you can't crack it. You can't open it up and look at it. Now, that is false. Clearly, because when you look at the blockchain and the data on the blockchain, the Bitcoin blockchain, you can see all the information that is there. You can see transactions flowing through the network. You can see where that money is going, what addresses.
Even the amount.
The amounts, the dates. You can see every single thing in the Bitcoin ledger and the blockchain ledger. So clearly, when you look at Bitcoin, the word cryptocurrency doesn't apply, because Bitcoin is not encrypted. It is clear and transparent. And what is separated from the blockchain data is who those addresses are connected to. So when we look at every one of those transactions on the blockchain, yes, we can see information, we can see transactions being created, we can see people getting paid. We don't know who those people are, but we can see all that information.
Yeah.
Now, this was a very important concept that Satoshi Nakamoto tried to convey, is that even though the information, you can see it, and you can see those addresses that are being paid, you don't necessarily know who those addresses belong to. And in his words, it was that the identities are firewalled from the blockchain. In other words, you can't see the identities of the owners of those addresses. That is outside of the blockchain. But clearly, Bitcoin as a technology is not encrypted. It is plain text.
Yeah.
Anybody can download the data and can view it and see what's going on. But what is separated from the blockchain are the identities linked to those addresses.
Which makes sense. I mean, no financial entity wants to expose their customers' information on a public ledger, for instance. So
yes.
It makes sense for their identity to be protected.
Exactly. That's why when we say it's firewalled, it means that there's no way to link identities to those addresses. But you talked about financial institutions. Now, of course, what we always try and express to people and the people who watch the Centbee Show and our users is that we are not using Bitcoin because it is anonymous.
Yes.
We are using it because it is pseudonymous. In other words, we can see those transactions. But as an accountable institution, if law enforcement or if regulators wanted to know the identities of the addresses where the money is flowing, we would be able to present that to them, because we do have identities linked to those addresses and those transactions within Centbee, but that information is kept within Centbee. And we obviously can keep that secure and protected so that outside people can't see that. But if a law enforcement official wanted to know who were these transactions paid out to, we could then say, right, we've got a list of the identities that are linked to those addresses, and we can give that information over.
Oh man, that's cool. But it's a little bit confusing for me, because how did Bitcoin all of a sudden get connoted to the crypto space?
Well, mostly that was wishful thinking. The reason why we have all these different versions of Bitcoin and also all these different cryptocurrencies out there is because right from the beginning of Bitcoin's life, very beginning, people looked at Bitcoin as a transparent ledger and they said, well, this is not what we want. We like the decentralization, but we don't like the fact that law enforcement can now trace transactions. They can go onto the blockchain and without having to ask for permission, they can go and download that information. They can trace all these payments. And if they find an address that's linked to a user, then they can track them and find them. And so one of the ideologies, if you like, that crept into Bitcoin was that we want to not only make this decentralized, but we want to try and make it so that nobody knows what's going on and anybody can transact on the blockchain, and law enforcement and regulators will never have any idea about what's going on. So this is an ideology that crept into Bitcoin that eventually meant that we now have a universe of cryptocurrencies, all of them trying different things, but predominantly trying to create systems that make things more anonymous. Now, BTC is a perfect example of that, because one of the things that the BTC community want at all costs is for them to be able to create a network that doesn't have a single point of failure, a business like Centbee, where if law enforcement want to come and track payments, they can come to an organization like Centbee and find out information about that. So this is something that really sets the original Bitcoin idea apart from what the communities around Bitcoin, all with their different ideologies, what they're trying to do. The original Bitcoin protocol, which is now represented as BSV, the whole intention there was to create a regulated system.
Yes.
So not only is it transparent, but it also has mining operators that are very few and very large and very visible to law enforcement, so that it is easy for law enforcement to go to those mining operators and say, we have detected illicit transactions for terrorist financing or something. We are now going to instruct you to go and freeze funds or reclaim funds. Another thing is people who lose money on Bitcoin. Of course, people lose their keys and then they've got millions of dollars of Bitcoin and they can't ever access it again. But a very important thing that Satoshi Nakamoto considered was that if you do lose your coins and if you can prove that you own them, you will then be able to go to the mining operators to say, I now have a court verdict that says this is my property, and the courts are going to instruct the miners to create a transaction to then return that property back to the user. So the whole idea of cryptocurrency was a false idea that crept into Bitcoin and all these blockchain currencies out there. The idea that we want an encrypted currency that nobody can see, nobody can understand. It's all anonymous. And of course, that is clearly not what Satoshi Nakamoto wanted. And we resonate with that because, at least with what Satoshi Nakamoto wanted, because we want to create a business that builds applications like Centbee Wallet that can be useful to people, that they can use without thinking that they are breaking the law or doing anything illicit. We want to offer a product that not only can customers benefit from because of its low cost transactions, but also they can benefit from it because they can know that it is regulated, it follows all the rules around money and payments and transactions, and if they lose money, there is recourse. They can go back and get it through a court order. And also, if there is money laundering going on, if there's terrorist financing going on, then those criminals can be brought to justice.
Awesome, man. Guys, remember to check out the Centbee app. If you haven't, you're missing out, man. Come on now. It's 2024 and you're still spending hard cash. Come on. You should be downloading Centbee, explore the shop there, buy stuff that you literally can be using on your daily, whether it's Uber or groceries and stuff. Just check it out on the stores there and remember to show some love. You know the drill by now. Yeah, Ms. G, we're going to be jumping into our second segment. This is us now having to clarify what we really stand for. Because in terms of us as Centbee, we need to also demystify certain misunderstandings about the space. But what I would like us to jump into is, we have stated that Centbee Wallet is not a cryptocurrency wallet, but we need to clarify what it is to our users. So do you mind just ironing it out what it is? Because I'm sure people are confused or they still assume that we are a crypto wallet. We need to clarify what Centbee is.
Yeah, well, like, if not a cryptocurrency wallet, what is it?
Yeah.
Exactly. So actually, Centbee isn't trying to do anything new in terms of the product offering that it has. And if people are familiar with this concept of mobile money, you fully understand what Centbee is trying to do. The mobile money is used around the world, most famously in Kenya and in Ghana and countries like that. People there have been using mobile money for years, very successfully. And mobile money products are really taking over the world. If you think about WeChat in Asia and Alipay. And M-Pesa is the most famous one in Africa. People have been using their mobile phones and money on their mobile phones now for years. And it's really taking over. People are not becoming banked. If you think about the idea of leapfrogging, Africa is always famous for this concept of leapfrogging, where they immediately skip to the next newest innovation and don't do any of the old legacy stuff. For a long time, people thought that what we needed to do was bank the unbanked across Africa. But all that's really happening is they are now moving into this era of mobile money, where companies are providing mobile wallets with money in them, and it's very convenient and easy and low cost for people to now go and spend that mobile money at stores, pay bills and that sort of thing. So Centbee really is exactly just another mobile money product. We are trying to do exactly what all these very successful mobile money wallets have been doing now for years. And if we look at Africa, people are not transacting through banks or credit cards, they're transacting through mobile money. So Centbee fits in that category. It is a mobile money product. It also wants you to pay for your groceries, as you said, or pay bills, or send money to your relatives, or pay a service provider. And so that's exactly what Centbee is, except it has that benefit of using a global payment network. Bitcoin SV makes it possible now for people to not only use a mobile money product with Centbee, but a global mobile money product.
Yeah, because I was about to ask that. Cool. I mean, we have had these mobile money applications that have been in business for years now, but us having to step into the game now, what makes us different?
Right. Well, I mean, of course, the fact that we use Bitcoin SV, global digital cash, means now that people don't have to have the problem that they have now, where when you do use a mobile money wallet in Africa or in China, what you have is that those mobile money products are kind of locked into the country. Of course, we see now how companies like M-Pesa are looking at cross-border remittance, and so M-Pesa is operating in different countries, and they are creating cross-border features in their wallets. But that is a very complicated, drawn-out affair. And so Centbee comes to the table immediately saying, we don't have to worry about interoperability, where now you have a problem if you are sitting with your digital cash inside Centbee wallet. How do you send it to your relative or your friend and you're in Kenya? How do you send it to Ghana? How do you send it to the United States? So Centbee is really trying to create exactly the same experience, the mobile money experience, but also if you think about WeChat is a very popular Asian payment wallet where you can do everything now in WeChat, but it started out as a mobile wallet with chat features, and of course Centbee Chat Pay is exactly that.
We have that.
We have that. So now we are going to compete with them, and we have an advantage because we already have a global payment network. We don't have to worry about having partners or businesses operating in different countries that are all connected.
Yeah, because I have picked up that with the remittance space, that when you send money to a mobile money account in another country, there has to be availability of that network, like MTN, for instance. If the person is using a different network, then you can't send it. So it forces them to build this network, which also doesn't expand any further than where it is.
Exactly. So that's why Centbee is unique. Centbee is an M-Pesa killer. And eventually, hopefully, we can not just focus on Africa as we've been doing, we can become a global mobile money killer.
But we are.
Yes. So now if you use Centbee wallet, you have the same features as your favorite mobile money wallet, let's say M-Pesa. You can also buy groceries, you can pay service providers, you can pay bills, especially in countries like Kenya and Ghana, Nigeria, all those countries that already use mobile money. And now people can use Centbee rather and use Bitcoin SV, and they're not constrained by borders. And of course, moving money across the world, it's the same, it's a fraction of a cent. I can send it to you, you're sitting next to me, but if you're sitting in a different country entirely, Centbee is already by default a cross-border mobile money wallet.
It is.
So this is now what we are going to do. We are coming in and we're going to take on these mobile money providers. Our growth is exploding across Africa, the continent. And we think that very soon we will be able to really start competing head-to-head with these kinds of companies.
Because if we are a cross-border mobile money wallet, and by that, it's not only the ability of sending the local currency that side, but having to shop locally for stuff. That is cross-border on its own. For the fact that I can use my Centbee wallet here in South Africa, buy whatever I need, and then get to travel to another country, and all I have to do is just select that country that I'm in, and then I get all the options that I can shop. For me, that is cross-border. Like, you can literally live anywhere with Centbee.
Or you can have a relative in Kenya and send them money, and they can go and shop there. And that transaction fee is going to be less than a cent. So you've just done a cross-border transaction for a fraction of what people pay today.
It's quite crazy, Mr. G, that people haven't caught up to this. Like, it doesn't make sense to me because people are always looking for cheaper solutions, faster solutions, and BSV is all that.
Yes, eventually they will catch up. Now, of course, we still are under that cloud of cryptocurrency, and everybody has that intuitive sense that there's something dodgy about cryptocurrency. And of course, regulators are coming down on exchanges, and there's definitely going to become a time where cryptocurrency get stamped out, because if these cryptos can't show that they are complying with all the local rules and regulations, they will fail. Right now, of course, people still speculate on them. If we just look at that Bitcoin ETF that was approved.
Exactly. I was about to say that, last week we were chatting about that, and it got approved. So clearly there's a bit of light, a glimpse of light, like in that space.
Well, the approval doesn't change anything. BTC is still valueless.
No. I'm saying in terms of like how people look at the space.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Like if regulators can see it in a sense of it being implemented in people's lives or it being secured as a business model, then there's a future there.
Yes, that's the path that's happening now. We see regulators are coming to the party. They're starting to look at these things, starting to categorize them correctly, and starting to come up with the right rules to make sure that things are acting within the rule of law. So now we have that odd advantage right now, where because the space is so clouded and people are so confused, M-Pesa is not looking at incorporating Bitcoin SV at the moment, because they also are waiting for some kind of clarity. But when it comes, when these big businesses eventually cotton on to the fact that if they use Bitcoin SV because it is regulated, compliant, then of course they're going to jump onto it. And that'll mean that companies like Centbee will have a job at trying to compete with them because of their bigger networks and brand awareness. But in the meantime, until that happens, we now have that ability that throughout history, all these little small startups that found a new novel way of reducing costs or increasing efficiencies, they eventually become bigger and bigger and take over the old legacy the guys. So I'm really very happy with where things are going. The fact that these big companies are not still looking at Bitcoin SV, that gives us an advantage. We now have the ability to build this product out, Centbee Wallet, get it into the hands of people, and eventually people are going to say, look, I can use M-Pesa, but then I'm restricted to the countries that it operates within and the fees that they have. Or I can use a global payment wallet like Centbee and radically reduce the cost of transactions.
I think that's also where the challenge is for these big entities, because it's like, for us to cut the cost to that, it's not possible for them. Like they want to win. And remember, BSV was built with that in mind, that it should be fast, it should be cheaper, and it's for the people basically. So I think it's gonna be a long while till these guys jump on board, because they like to fiddle with the fees much. So
yes, they do. But we're still doing this. We are going to be, of course, making sure that Centbee works great for wherever you are. We intend constantly growing the catalog of places where you can shop within Centbee. Of course, ChatPay makes it really convenient to be able to send money to people. And of course, all the other wonderful features that Centbee offers. We think we've got a phenomenal product that, as you say to the audience, come on, it's 2024 now. If you haven't tried Centbee Wallet, you're missing out.
They are. Come on, guys. Like I will keep repeating. Check out the Centbee app on the stores. Show some love. You know the drill by now. Yo, guys, come on. If you haven't downloaded Centbee, I'll repeat. Check it out on the stores. Hook up your friends. Literally, you could be living off Centbee Wallet. This is mobile money on another level. So, it's 2024. If you don't have a digital wallet like Centbee in this day and age, you're probably living under a rock, and you should step out. Shot. Thanks for that, Mr. G. I mean, it's quite clear what we stand for as Centbee. Centbee's it's a mobile money wallet, and we should be consistently voicing that out, because people do get confused in terms of like BSV, Bitcoin, and
crypto
all of that.
wallet.
And
Centbee doesn't do trading. There's no trading of cryptocurrencies. It's not about NFTs or trading cards or all these other kinds of crypto assets that people are working with on different apps. Centbee is plain and simple a mobile money wallet that uses Bitcoin SV to reduce the cost of transactions and to make it inherently global.
All right, cool. Thanks for that, Mr. G. We're going to be stepping into this week's questions and feedback from you guys on socials. So yeah, we had a question from support here. So he says, I am sending money to my business partner located in the UK as part of our ongoing business operations, and the funds are intended for services rendered. Can Send be used for business use?
Well, look, what Centbee is a consumer wallet meant for people to use in their daily lives. But it's not meant to be used as a business tool.
Okay.
Now, some users have looked at Centbee as a way to pay service providers, to pay staff and that sort of thing. And what we are trying to stay exclusive to are just general people who want to use it in their daily lives, as you say, activate their lifestyles. So we don't encourage users to think of the Centbee as a business tool. And so one of the important things that we have inside Centbee is are limits on how much you can transact. And that means that to use it for your business, you are going to come and hit those limits. For example, we've had users in the past who thought this is a great way for, as I said, people to pay service providers or business partners overseas. So we've got very tight controls around how much people can send to individual bank accounts. And in fact, one of the anti-money laundering triggers that we have is that if a single bank account is receiving payments from multiple users, what we do is we block those transactions. Because one of the signs when it comes to money laundering checks is multiple individuals sending money to a single bank account. So Centbee is not meant for that. If you are somebody who is in a country and you want to send money home to a relative, or you have a friend or something like that.
It's a personal one.
It's a personal wallet, not intended for business use. Now, this user is expressing that they want to use it for business. They're not thinking of it from an individual point of view. And so they are going to hit those limits. The reason for this is that we still want to stay compliant, obviously, with the rules and regulations around payments. But also, we don't want to open up Centbee to that sort of activity because it just makes the compliance issues difficult for us. So we are going to discourage use of Centbee for business operations. As you say, it's a personal wallet meant for individuals, especially young people who want to send money. Maybe you're in a country and you want to send money home to your mom or something like that. That's what Centbee is meant for. So if you are a user who is going to be sending money, and if you are a group of users who are sending money to individual bank accounts, you are going to find that those transactions get blocked, and we probably won't allow them going forward. So that is just an answer to that. Please don't use Centbee for business. You won't be able to. We've got very tight controls. But if you are an individual and you just want to send money home or something like that, then of course Centbee is made for you.
Guys, just remember that if you need anything for your daily lives, whether it's Uber, groceries, gaming,
mobile data,
literally
clothing, restaurants.
Mr. G, you can literally buy your pet stuff there, you know. So that's how awesome Centbee is, guys. Come on, check it out, subscribe, show some love. You know the drill by now. So yeah, Mr. G, I'm going to be stepping into this week's highlights. One of our highlights comes from Catalina Fabian. So, say my lifestyle wallet at Centbee.
Yes, so there we go. It is a lifestyle wallet. It's a lifestyle product for users who don't have access to credit cards or debit cards, but want to make digital payments, want to shop online, want to buy online games.
Chat.
That's what it's for. It's to give you that ability to do that. It's to activate your lifestyle. Thank you very much, Catalina.
Thank you. Check it out, yo. So our second feedback comes from Dr. Catherine Leporto. So she actually retweeted a post from the IMF Africa, which states that the global average cost of sending $200 from one country to another was $12.50 in the first quarter of 2023, or 6.25%, according to the World Bank cheaper cross-border payment services would benefit people and economies worldwide. That's true.
Yes, and that just highlights the whole idea of a global digital cash system, where it's still incredibly expensive for people to send money cross-border.
Yeah.
And I mean, the most expensive corridors on earth are in the African continent, where very poor people every month are sending money home and having to pay these enormous fees. And I mean, 6.5%, I mean, that's not even the highest. It can go to 15%. 20%. So this is why we just love the idea of a global digital cash system that can comply with all the rules, especially if you're operating with it in a regulated environment like Centbee does. We have all the right regulatory controls and risk controls to make sure that you can get the benefit of low-cost digital cash, payments across border at a fraction of a cent anywhere on earth, but within a controlled environment. And so this is one of the most important aspects around Centbee, as when we talk about it being a mobile money wallet. Yes, it's for spending. But if you think of it as a cross-border app as well, and you send money, if you send digital cash with Centbee, you can avoid those 6%, 15% fees. By far. So we're very grateful. Thank you, Dr. Laporta, for tweeting that out. Because it definitely highlights one of the greatest benefits of Bitcoin SV, and especially when it is used within a regulated environment.
Yeah, because she does state that this is madness. I mean, people can't be charged this much just to send money across the world. Cool. Yeah. Mr. G, I think we've come to the end of our episode.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks for an awesome one once again.
Thank you.
Yeah. We've clarified actually what Centbee Wallet is, and there shouldn't be any further confusion. I mean, Centbee is your daily mobile cash wallet, mobile money wallet. You can literally spend, send, chat, get paid through Centbee. So there's no need for you not to download Centbee. Check it out on the stores, guys. Show some love, subscribe, comment, yeah.
Cool. No, thanks, Kage. Thank you very much. I always enjoy talking about Centbee Wallet. Also, when it comes to clarifying the misconceptions around what it is that Bitcoin was meant to be and what we are trying to do with Bitcoin SV. We are a mobile money wallet. And if you think about it in terms of that, then it's all going to make sense to you. And you're going to see why Centbee just shines above all the other mobile money products out there, because we get to leverage the low-cost digital cash payments. So thank you for joining us at the Centbee Show. We really appreciate your feedback and your comments. And if you have any suggestions, we want to hear them, because it helps us make sure that Centbee is a great product for you. If you do have any questions, if you have any issues, we do have help within Centbee that can answer some of your basic questions. But if you do have a problem, maybe you've got payments that are delayed or something, then just reach out to us on support@centbee.com, and then we'll be able to address those issues. So thank you again for joining us at the Centbee Show. Please come back soon.